there's a limited number of customers they can serve per delivery, yeah. Well, I wasn't aware of it. If you want to give us some information, we can definitely follow up on it.
Sir, I'm going to go ahead. You haven't spoke yet. If you'd like to come up and speak, I'll let you.
Real quick, Chair.
Councilman Johnson.
To the lady's point, 24 square miles, I don't smoke it personally. I wouldn't know that's there. And if they start a business, how would we know? I mean, I just wonder.
Well, it's clearly illegal at this point, but, sir.
My name is Carl Kleeman. I live at 5903 Pine Street. I wanted to address the question that you kind of spoke of, and that's when will this council be taking up the ordinance of recreational, and when it will be presented in a form like this to the city? Again, she said, we waited 3 years for the medical, which myself, I'm a medical patient, and I don't think 2 dispensaries are enough for a 24 square mile. And as far as revenue, we will get some revenue, and some is better than none, especially if it can go for kids for schools. And I would just like to know when the council is going to take this matter up and try to get it passed.
Councilman Johnson.
Can we, through the chair to the administration, can we direct council to start working on that right away? I mean, is that something?
Mr. Chairman, what I would suggest is that, Mr. Chairman, what I would suggest is that we convene the same committee that we had that made the recommendations on the medicinal ordinance, and allow that committee to review everything that we've heard tonight, everything that's led us up to this day now, and bring a suggestion back to this board for consideration.
Mr. Chairman.
But to be clear,
Later, though.
Yes.
yeah, I don't want to leave here and think that next meeting we're going to have something on the agenda that's not likely and not probable. But we could certainly begin the process. The dialogue will take some time. How long, that's totally up to the desire of this body. But we can definitely convene the meetings to bring something back for sure.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Becerra.
We did have, I think what I heard was maybe a request for a public hearing as much as, a recommendation for an ordinance. And we did have a public hearing. It was here. It was pretty well attended. You mentioned Verge Venero showing up. I disagreed with most of what Verge said, but that's obvious that I would do that. But we could have a public hearing, and we could have more input and more questions, more suggestions. I would recommend, Mr. McDonald is obviously very passionate, and Ms. Siborowski, that this gentleman here, maybe they could be part of, what's that? Well, I'm just saying, to provide the input that you're looking to provide, and whatever committee is set forth by the city, they could take those into consideration, but possibly another public hearing. I voted no. I'm a big believer in medical. I'm a big believer in people being able to use it. I'm not as strong of a proponent of this industry right now, but I would be in favor of having a hearing, and I would be in favor of seeking additional public input.
I agree.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Crawford.
I just want to make one last comment with regards to the school district. All of that funding for the school district is coming from the state. So anything, school districts are run by the state. They are not run by the city, just to be clear. And the city does not get any money except for the millage that you pay on your taxes for
Mr. Chairman, just one last comment. The public hearings are great, but just as passionate as all of you are that are in favor of it, there's a lot of folks that are very passionate that are opposed to it. So while we're definitely interested in having a public hearing, just cooler heads prevail. Come here, let's have constructive criticism. I know, Mr. McDonald, you're passionate about a lot of things, and that's great. But it's not going to be productive if it escalates. And so let's agree to disagree, and let's have good dialogue. But we'll certainly do that.
Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mr. McDonald. My point exactly. But because there is a whole other side to this, and there's a lot of bad information out there. I hear the job creation, I hear the revenue, and I'm going to tell you, there's a counter effect. If we don't do something like they're doing tonight, look at the vape shops, or look at the hydroponic stores that are opening. They're opening in a lot of places that they're not real desirable. I believe Oakland County is considering a resolution to pass a moratorium on those as we speak, if they haven't already. We don't want that to happen with this business. We don't want 4 bars in a bad location. I think that's a great example. They're here. They're harder to get rid of when they're here, as opposed to opting out let's collect our thoughts, let's put some policy in place, and then let's move forward. I have nothing but time.
I'm actually going to call for a vote at this point. So I'm going to read the motion one more time. It is a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance to prohibit recreational marijuana establishments in all the geographic areas of the city of Taylor. I had a motion by Councilwoman Croft, supported by Councilman Mazura. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to
Motion to
approve
adjourn.
adjournment.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilwoman Cross, supported by Councilman Remick, and the meeting is ended at 7:16 PM.